This industry moves fast. We do not have an ability to try to please everybody. Just doesn't work that way. You get some, you don't get some, they go your way, they don't go your way. Tear it down, load up the truck, and get to the next city, right? We're at the traveling circus here.
This clip perfectly encapsulates the UFC's relentless, onto the next one mentality. The speaker acknowledges the industry's rapid pace and the inherent difficulty in pleasing everyone. It's a traveling circus, constantly moving, setting up, tearing down. This sets the initial barrier for any rematch argument. The UFC prioritizes momentum over revisiting past contests. The phrase "you get some, you don't get some" implies a philosophy where fighters and fans must accept outcomes and quickly pivot. But does this unwavering commitment to forward motion sometimes overshadow genuine grievances or compelling narratives? Is the pursuit of constant newness always the best path for the sport, or does it occasionally blind decision-makers to opportunities that could explode in popularity? This clip lays the groundwork for understanding why Dana White might be so quick to dismiss a rematch, and it highlights the formidable challenge faced by anyone arguing against the current. Dana White's words echo, stark and uncompromising: no rematch. The UFC machine, a relentless, unforgiving force, demands we move on. But what if the official stance masks a deeper truth? What if the narrative we're being sold is incomplete, designed to serve expediency over justice? What if the Poatan story, Alex Pereira's journey to heavyweight glory, has only just begun to unravel, brutally interrupted, and now desperately needing a second act? We're diving deep into the heavyweight chaos, dissecting every angle, every missed opportunity, and every reason why Alex Pereira doesn't just want a rematch, he deserves one. This isn't just about a fight, it's about the very fabric of fair play in the fastest moving, most brutal sport on the planet. Is the UFC willing to sacrifice a captivating storyline for the sake of speed? Rehook? Or is there a path, a hidden option that benefits everyone, especially the fans?
Believe that Herb Dean did anything wrong. I'm not convinced that that is sincere. I am convinced that that is a very well-played card for media attention, and the question becomes, is it enough for a rematch?
Here the speaker directly addresses the controversy surrounding Herb Dean's stoppage, questioning its sincerity. He suggests that the outrage isn't a genuine collective belief that Dean erred, but rather a very well-played card for media attention. This is a critical point. If the argument for a rematch hinges solely on a referee error, and that argument is perceived as manufactured hype, it severely weakens the case. The speaker's skepticism implies that the community, deep down, doesn't truly believe Herb Dean was at fault, or at least not enough to warrant overturning a decision. This perception directly informs why the UFC might be hesitant to grant a rematch based on this specific complaint. It frames the entire controversy as a strategic move, rather than a legitimate grievance, challenging the very foundation of Pereira's appeal. Is it truly just media play, or a legitimate concern amplified by the platform? Rehook. The line between media attention and drawing attention to an injustice can be thin, but it defines the battleground for this rematch. The traveling circus's analogy is stark. It paints a picture of constant motion, where yesterday's spectacle is quickly forgotten in the rush for tomorrow's headlines. But what if the last act was cut short? What if the final curtain fell too soon, leaving the audience, and crucially, one of its biggest stars, feeling cheated? This isn't just about a single loss for Alex Pereira. It's about the nature of that loss and the lingering questions that refuse to dissipate, no matter how fast the industry tries to move. The speed of the sport is precisely why moments of injustice can be so easily swept under the rug. But what happens when the rug isn't big enough? Rehook. What happens when a global superstar like Pereira, who rarely speaks out, makes his displeasure known? This is where the narrative shifts, where the what-if game truly begins, because ignoring such a compelling voice comes with its own set of risks for the promotion.
Is referee discretion referee interference? Like, it's too late at this point to come out and go, but he stepped outside, and if he would have been inside, and he threw an uppercut, but if it would have been a straight, it's too late. The arguments have been made.
The too late argument is laid out emphatically here. So, is the Herb Dean outcry a genuine cry for justice, or a calculated maneuver for headlines? The implication is clear. The UFC sees through the noise. They believe the fans, too, are playing along, not genuinely convinced of referee wrongdoing. But this dismissal, this cynicism, overlooks a crucial element: the perception of injustice. Even if the stoppage was technically sound, if a significant portion of the fan base feels it was premature, that emotional resonance matters. It creates a lingering doubt, a what-if scenario that fuels fan engagement. Referees are human, and human error, or even the appearance of it, can forever taint an outcome. This leads us to another formidable hurdle in the rematch campaign: the idea that it's simply too late to argue the finer points of the fight. But when is it truly too late to correct a potential wrong? Rehook. Can the clock ever truly run out on a compelling argument for fairness in the Octagon?
But the complaint is coming from a guy who never complains about anything ever. So, does that add to it? Yes, it does. Should that add to it? No, I'm well aware that in a jury that shouldn't have anything to do with it, but...
This segment is a golden nugget because it introduces a crucial layer to Alex Pereira's complaint: his character. The speaker highlights that Pereira never complains about anything ever. This rarity adds significant weight to his current displeasure. While acknowledging that in a jury, a fighter's disposition shouldn't technically influence the outcome, the speaker admits that in the real world of sports and media, it does add to it. This is a powerful human element. A fighter known for stoicism, who rarely, if ever, questions results, suddenly speaking out suggests a deeper, more profound sense of injustice than a typical post-fight grievance. It implies that for Pereira, this isn't just a loss, it's a fundamental wrong that transcends his usual acceptance of outcomes. This personal integrity strengthens the emotional appeal for a rematch, even if it doesn't fit neatly into official rulebooks. Rehook. Can the quiet integrity of a fighter sway the biggest promotion in the world? The UFC's message is loud and clear. The arguments have been made. It's too late. This echoes the sentiment of the legal system that demands timeliness, but mixed martial arts is far from a courtroom. It's a spectacle, a narrative, a constant battle for fan attention. To dismiss the too late argument, we must consider the unique circumstances. Pereira isn't just any fighter. He's a two-division champion, a knockout artist, a generational talent. His voice carries weight. The conventional too late rule applies to the common complaints, the typical post-fight laments. But what if the complainant is anything but typical? What if their integrity, their history of silence, lends an extraordinary power to their rare moments of protest? Rehook does a fighter's character, their reputation for stoicism, change the calculus of what's too late.
What if we were going to try to please everybody here? One thing that we don't know about Ciryl and Alex is how Ciryl feels. We don't know. Ciryl keeps to himself. I met Ciryl on a personal level. I'll share with you guys.
The speaker returns to the hypothetical, what if we were going to try to please everybody here, and immediately pivots to a critical unknown: Ciryl Gane's feelings. This is a brilliant strategic move in the argument for a rematch. Often the focus remains on the wrong party, but a successful rematch requires willingness from both sides. The speaker admits that Gane keeps to himself and that his appetite for a rematch is unknown. By highlighting Gane's polite and calm demeanor, the speaker subtly suggests that Gane might be amenable to a discussion, rather than outright hostile. This opens the door to the possibility that Gane, despite winning, might find value in running it back. It shifts the narrative from Pereira demanding to a potential mutually beneficial scenario, crucial for garnering UFC support. This clip emphasizes that understanding the nuances of both fighters' perspectives is essential for truly pleasing everybody. Rehook. If Gane's true feelings are a mystery, can we really predict his response to a rematch offer? Alex Pereira. Poatan. Stone hand, but also silent warrior. His lack of complaint, his unwavering acceptance of wins and losses, makes his current stance a seismic event. This isn't a fighter grasping at straws. This is a man who feels genuinely wronged. A man whose quiet intensity is now focused on a single demand. The UFC, always keen on star power, must weigh this. Do they dismiss a rare complaint from one of their biggest draw cards, risking alienation? Or do they listen, understanding that some rules, like the too late clause, bend under the weight of unique circumstances and undeniable star power? This brings us back to the what-if scenario, the hypothetical world where the UFC tries to please everyone. And to do that, they need to understand all the players. Rehook. What is the other side, the victorious side? truly desire.
What we do appear to know from Ciryl in history is that he will fight anybody. He's gotten himself to a point with the Francis, with the John Jones, with the Alex Pereira, with the Tom Aspinall. I mean, I can go back with the Junior Dos Santos as he was coming up. That was a big...
This clip reinforces Ciryl Gane's reputation as a fighter, willing to face anyone, highlighting his impressive and difficult resume. The speaker lists elite opponents like Francis Ngannou, John Jones, Alex Pereira from their first encounter, and Tom Aspinall, underscoring Gane's track record of taking on the toughest challenges. This will fight anybody mentality is crucial, because it provides a strong internal justification for Gane to accept a rematch, even if he's already won. It positions him as a true competitor who prioritizes the best fights over easy paths. This argument directly counters the idea that Gane would be uninterested, simply because he already has a victory over Pereira. Instead, it suggests that if the terms are right and the challenge is compelling, Gane would likely step up, further strengthening the case for a Gane-Pereira rematch. His history shows he doesn't shy away from dangerous opponents. Could Gane's undisputed warrior spirit be the surprising catalyst for Pereira's rematch? Ciryl Gane, the enigmatic Bond gamer. His stoic nature, much like Pereira's, makes his true desires hard to read. But if the goal is to please everyone, Gane's perspective becomes paramount. He won the last fight decisively. So why would he re-enter the Octagon with Pereira? The speaker introduces Gane's fight anyone mentality, a reputation built on facing the division's toughest. This is the key. Gane is a professional, a competitor. He seeks challenges. And a rematch, even against someone he's beaten, could still offer a significant challenge, especially if the stakes are elevated. This isn't just about revenge for Pereira, it's about an undeniable, high-profile clash that could move the entire heavyweight landscape. Does Gane's willingness to face any opponent, no matter how recent the victory, become a secret weapon in Pereira's quest for a rematch?
I would guess that he would not be interested in an Alex Pereira rematch. From the perspective of, I won, fair, but if Ciryl has lost respect for Alex, by example, like Ciryl didn't hesitate to fight Alex the first time, now that he knows he can win.
This clip explores the psychological angle for Ciryl Gane. The speaker initially guesses Gane wouldn't be interested in a rematch from the perspective of, I won fair. This is the default position for any victorious fighter. However, the narrative then introduces a fascinating twist. But if Ciryl has lost respect for Alex by example, this hints at potential motivations beyond a simple win-loss record. What could make Gane lose respect? Perhaps Pereira's continued complaints, or a sense that Pereira is unfairly undermining his victory. The key takeaway is the idea that, now that he knows he can win, Gane might actually be more inclined to fight Pereira again. It's a bold assertion suggesting that confidence gained from the first victory could make a second encounter an appealing, even easy, proposition for Gane. This flips the conventional wisdom on its head, turning Gane's win into a reason for a rematch, not against it. Could the very act of winning make Gane more likely to grant a rematch, seeing it as an easy payday? Gane's resume speaks volumes. A true gauntlet of the heavyweight elite. He's made his money the hard way. This isn't a man who picks and chooses easy fights. So while an initial reaction might be that he wouldn't be interested in a rematch against someone he just beat, Gane's history suggests a different calculus. He's driven by legacy by proving himself against the best. A rematch with a motivated, adjusted Pereira, especially with elevated stakes, could appeal to that competitive fire. The speaker acknowledges Gane might initially feel he won fair and not be interested. But then comes the crucial what if? What if something shifted? What if Gane, knowing he could win, saw an even greater opportunity in fighting Pereira again?
You knew you could beat him. In fact, you knew it wasn't even going to be that hard of a night for you. Wouldn't you go fight him? I mean, in all fairness, isn't that exactly who you're supposed to fight?
This clip brilliantly distills the fighter's mindset into a simple, compelling logic. If you know you can beat a high-ranked opponent, and it won't even be a hard night, why wouldn't you take that fight? The speaker frames this as a rhetorical question, almost a moral imperative for a competitor. Isn't that exactly who you're supposed to fight? This argument appeals directly to a fighter's pragmatism and ambition. For Ciryl Gane, if he truly believes he has Pereira's number, a rematch becomes a logical, desirable step towards his own championship aspirations. It's about leveraging a perceived advantage. This perspective significantly bolsters the case for a Gane-Pereira rematch, moving beyond emotional appeals to a logical, strategic justification from Gane's point of view. It makes the rematch a sound business decision for Gane, not just a favor. Rehook. If taking the easy fight is part of a champion's path, then what truly stands in the way of Pereira getting his shot? The notion that Gane, having won, might be more willing to fight Pereira again is a game changer. It transforms the rematch from a begrudging concession to a strategic move. Imagine the psychological hedge, knowing you can beat your opponent, having seen their best, and having overcome it. For a fighter, that confidence is invaluable. Why risk a tough challenge elsewhere when you've already proven dominance over a top contender? This perspective, if true, positions Pereira as a calculated low-risk high-reward target for Gane. It answers the question of, what's in it for Gane with brutal honesty, an easier path to glory, and if that's the case, then the moral argument for a rematch becomes pragmatic. Rehook. If one fighter believes it will be an easy night, doesn't that make the fight even more likely?
I think that we could get Ciryl to the table very easy. That is my point. Alex is already there. Now, was that fight competitive enough? I mean, it's too late to raise that argument. Was the training enough? Was Alex's first time at heavyweight something that should be forgiven? I think all of those things are relevant. It's just too late.
This clip offers a crucial synthesis. We could get Ciryl to the table very easy. That is my point. Alex is already there. The statement strongly implies that the two key players are willing, or could be convinced to be willing. This is the foundation of any potential rematch. However, the speaker immediately pivots to dismissing traditional arguments. Was that fight competitive enough? Was the training enough? Was Alex's first time at heavyweight something that should be forgiven? He labels these as relevant, but then reiterates, it's just too late. This internal conflict within the argument is telling. The speaker recognizes the validity of Pereira's underlying grievances, but also the UFC's immovable stance on post-hoc analysis. This sets up the need for an alternative justification for the rematch, one that transcends the specifics of the first fight and instead focuses on current divisional needs. Rehook. If the old arguments are too late, then what new, undeniable reason could possibly force the UFC's hand? The logic is undeniable. Why fight harder when an easier yet still high-profile path exists? This perspective, presented through Gane's potential lens, makes a rematch with Pereira not just possible, but probable if the circumstances align. Alex is ready. He's there. The question then shifts from if a rematch is warranted to what specific conditions would make it irresistible for all parties. The speaker acknowledges lingering arguments about the first fight's competitiveness, Pereira's heavyweight debut, or his training. But again, the dismissive "it's just too late" crops up. This constant pushback highlights the UFC's default setting. But what if the stakes were higher than just a regular rematch? Rehook. What if this wasn't just about running it back, but about seizing an unprecedented opportunity to unify a fractured heavyweight division?